Hello, friends, and happy Friday. How's everyone doing this evening? I hope your weekend is off to a great start. Mine sure is, and it's great to be here with you all. Having a wonderful day today, and looking forward to just having a big old time with you guys tonight. So I, of course, have some Haunted Bookshop in the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli, as is the tradition here on the Friday night live stream. The old Friday Savinelli took a back seat during October because we started with the Halloween pipe. Bela is now resting back in his coffin for another year, along with his buddy Igor, aka Igor. And we're rolling on into Thanksgiving now. So fantastic times ahead for sure. So I see we got a nice crowd assembled already. Very happy to see that. And I'm just going to give this another quick light, and we'll see who we have to say hello to here. Gordy was early. 99 minutes early, Gordy. Good to see you, buddy. There's David G. Big Dave. JD Wolf. Good to see you, JD. Pondering with Pepe's Pipes. Great seeing you, Pepe. Burley Nut Bob. Ghost Rider. Bona Piper. Gary Edminster. Oh, David's liking his JD Wolf pipe. Nice. Nice stuff. And JD, you do have to tell me how you make an archaeologist angry. I'm very curious. Lord Hogarth, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, Richard Dotto, Jimmy 51363, which may or may not be part of his name. We don't know anymore. Numbers may or may not be real. Gary Edminster. Sorry, Gary, you get two hellos tonight. Bad Dad, Father Chris, good to see you, buddy. James Steidel. Martina Lamb. Hello, nice to see you again. There's the smooth piper, Peter, having Haunted Bookshop in his Friday Savinelli. The race is on, Peter. The race is on. Woody H6646. I don't know whether to say the numbers or not. You know what? I'm just going to stop saying the numbers, and if somebody gets mad at me and says, hey, what about my numbers? I'll add them in. Good to see you, Woody. Welcome coming in from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Or as I once heard it referred to as Art Fair Occupied Ann Arbor. JD, I really wish I hadn't asked. Okay, so been a good week. Been a good week. October is always very stressful for me at work. So I finished it up, and this week I've got a bunch of vacation accrued. So I actually took off today and Monday, so I got a 4-day weekend this weekend. And today, I did nothing. I did honestly. I had plans. And I got up this morning, and it's a long story. Isabel got me up in the middle of the night because she wanted to go lay in the yard at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I just crashed. I got up my normal time, and I came down here and let them out and made coffee and stuff. And I just crashed in the chair and fell asleep again. And I guess I just needed it. I guess I was just kind of mentally at least exhausted, if not physically. And yeah, it's been just a day of watching stupid stuff and napping and eating. So kind of like a little mini Thanksgiving day for me. But tomorrow we'll get back on the horse. And I don't know if my buddy Armchair Piper's shown up yet, but I'm hoping I'm going to be meeting up with him tomorrow, and that'll be fun. I'll drive down to Ed's, we'll grab some lunch, smoke a few pipes, and catch up. So it's always good to see my buddy Ed. Yeah, Woody, I know. I almost went to school in Ann Arbor. It had nothing to do with the art fair, but not. I'm sorry. I should let me back up. I almost did a postdoctoral fellowship in Ann Arbor, uh, and it's a nice town. I like it, but this friend that lived there used to refer to it as art fair occupied, and I always thought that was kind of funny. You know, art fairs are good things. Those mice and men know nothing there, Ghost Rider. Hey, Armchair Piper. Just talking about you. Hope we're on for tomorrow, buddy. I'm looking forward to it. And don't feel compelled to answer here. You can email me later. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. That's your every Friday, Big Dave? Well, you're a lucky man. Because I have to say, although I feel a little guilty, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched a documentary. I'm gonna murder this guy. I tried explaining it to my wife, and she was just looking at me like with that dead look in her eyes, like, "Why are you wasting my time talking right now?" Um, but thanks, Christian. We'll do that. Looking forward to doing that with you again in the not too distant future, I hope, buddy. Pepe, I really appreciate you and your mom tuning in and you being so consistent and everything. It's really great. And I hope someday I get to meet up with you too, buddy. Oh, really, Woody? Well, that's. I almost did a postdoc in neuroscience there. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the Dan Goldman, I think was the professor's name, and he was working on neuromuscular junction. Really interesting stuff. Sorry, me and Woody are going to talk shop for a minute. Fantastic, Ed. Looking forward to it, buddy. Uh, so where was I? I got distracted. So Woody, anytime somebody mentions neuroscience to me, I get completely off. I was the documentary I was telling my wife about. It was a two-part documentary in German from like 1971, black and white, and it was about the last of the wood-fired kilns, large wood-fired kilns in this town that was known for making pottery in Germany. The name of the family was Hovel, Hovel with an umlaut over the O, and it was a family-run business, and they had this huge wood-fired kiln. And most of the documentary was about how they had to prepare the kiln for firing it. And it was a major undertaking because they had to take all the bricks out because they actually had to make sure none of them were cracked. They had to scrape clay off of them. They had to clean them. They had to remortar the entire inside of the domed kiln structure because it would crack and it would let oxygen leak. And it was a major. I mean, I was really amazed at just how much work went into this. It was boring in that, I was really wanting to see them light the thing, and instead I had to watch, like, this guy and it was hilarious because it was the 1970s, so this guy wearing bell-bottom jeans crawling around in these little spaces and putting mortar up on walls and stuff. But it was just oddly fascinating at the same time. Indeed, Christian. Indeed, that man cave is unrivaled. Hey, Phil Rivera. Good to see you, Phil. There's David Jenkins. Nice to see you tonight, David. For some reason, I'm not as successful with the Haunted Bookshop tonight. So I know many of you are going to be disappointed, but I decided that tonight, rather than have another of the pumpkin lagers from last week, I'm going to go with a good old Yuengling lager. So any of you that tune in for my Sunday morning chats might have seen a rather odd occurrence this weekend. this past weekend. Good old Yingling. The audio gods have not been kind to me lately. I recorded this, and I gotta say, it was a nice chat. I really liked it. And 5 minutes in, the audio just cut out. And it's the weirdest thing. I went back in and to see if there was a signal that I could boost or something, and there was nothing. It was just like somebody had unplugged the microphone, but they hadn't. Well, somebody would have been me. Everything was connected and all that. Everything's fine. But it just suddenly just dead and no audio at all for the rest of the video. So, yeah, I had to take it down because there's no point in you watching me mime. We've done that a bit here recently. So, I don't know what the problem is. It's I'm gonna probably have to pull everything apart and clean all the contacts and all that good stuff just to see if I can get to the bottom of my problems. But not gonna happen today. You didn't hear anything on Sunday, Ed. That's the whole point. Limoncello. That's wonderful stuff, Christian. Easy to get hooked on. I have some friends that make their own and would occasionally get some from them, and well, boy, that was wonderful stuff. The Extinct Rustica. How you doing, Paragon Piper? Good to see you, buddy. And there's Tracy CC. Good to see you, Tracy. PA Piper. Good to see you there. What part of PA are you in? David G., you've had your first smoke in 6 different pipes? My goodness. Three assignments of Rep, Purig Blowfish, Master de Paja, and a Linear Artisan Savinelli. Straight grain Dublin. Nice, nice. I've been watching the Master de Paja recently. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. You know, Gordy, I did think when I saw how cleanly it cut out and stuff, it really felt like somebody had unplugged the thing, and I did think a little bit about the possibility of needing an exorcism. You're in Western PA, okay. I did my graduate work out in Pittsburgh, so my wife's from the Pittsburgh area. She actually just got back from that area this past. So was it this past weekend? It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. No, she came back on Tuesday, I think. Little Louis Lagaza checking in from Vietnam. Well, welcome, buddy. Good to see you. The left side of PA? No. Oh, very cool, Peppa. Yes, I remember you talking about Potsdam before. I didn't know your grandfather brought it to the mines. Very cool. 25 miles east of the Berg. Okay. Phil, are you trying to say that Vietnamese for thank you is come on? That seems like it could lead to some confusion. Yeah, Ron. There's Ron Hardcrackers. I saw your note about that on the last live stream. That's really odd. Little Louis asks, so first off, Boswell with mild English. Nice blend in a 7LA Duca Carlo 673. Nice stuff there, Louis. He asks, what brand source of standard cotton pipe cleaners gives the best value and performance? Louis, I mean, pipe cleaners are a little personal at times. I mean, there's some that are just lousy, but the ones that I've been using for years and years are the BJ Long tapered, and I get them both bristled and regular, but I always get the tapered, and they're just, I can't say that I've compared a lot of different ones, but I've never had a problem with them, and they seem to have the least, well, I can't say the least amount of fluff, but they have a tolerable amount of fluff, and they do the job. So those are the ones I would recommend, but I'm sure there's others. I have not been to the casino at the Westmoreland Mall, PA Piper, but the only casino I've been to in that part of the state was actually the one in downtown Pittsburgh. We stopped in there one day during a visit. Barry Johnston checking in from Fort Worth, Texas. Once lived in Bethlehem. Oh, cool. Actually going to make a trip up to Bethlehem, maybe this weekend. Actually, my wife has got a doctor's appointment at Cedar Crest, which is near Allentown, so we may swing up to Bethlehem. Oh, Pottsville. Okay. Yeah, I get them confused too, Pepe. Seminary versus Navy. That's an interesting choice. Might have been called the Rivers PA Pipe. I don't remember. It was years ago. No, I don't think Cabela's is in Bethlehem. That's in Hamburg, which is a bit west of Bethlehem. I don't know if it's still called Cabela's or not. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, that it was apparently bought by Bass Pro, and I don't know if they've changed it to Bass Pro now, or if they're still a Cabela's, or just owned by Bass Pro. I have no idea. I haven't been there in quite a while. I'm north of Philly, PA Piper. I'm near Quakertown, if that means anything to you. Near Lansdale. There you go, Phil. Could have doubled up and gone Navy chaplain. Why choose when you don't have to? Yeah, I knew they were bought out, Phil. I just didn't know if the name changed or not. Um, and yes, the furnace is on, so the audio is going to get a little funny. So I don't know about pipe shops, Pepe, but there is a huge Cigar International store right near Cabela's. And I often would go to Cabela's for the excuse and then go to the cigar store. But it's a nice place. I've had a couple meetups with some guys there, and they got a nice smoking lounge. Unfortunately, they don't have any food there, so if you want lunch, you have to leave and stuff. So that's the only downside to it. But it's a nice place, and they've got a reasonable pipe section for most compared to most cigar shops and stuff. They've got a reasonable selection of tobaccos and pipes. Although I haven't been there in years, so that may have changed. Doug Owen, good to see you, Doug. I just realized I haven't seen Ray in a while. Mushroom Leg. Hope he's doing well. I don't know if anyone's heard from him. I'm sure he's just busy. Bad Dad's firing up the old white elephant with some Sutliff rum raisin. Burley, Virginia, and exotic Turkish. Interesting. You know, rum raisin is my favorite ice cream. Actually, my favorite ice cream. Stay tuned for an old guy moment. You used to be able to get an ice cream called Heavenly Hash that had like ground up peanuts in it. It was like, I don't know how to describe it. It might have even been almonds. I don't know. But it was just this really nice, smooth, but crunchy. Yeah, I liked Heavenly Hash. Can't get it anymore. He did post a video a few days ago. Okay, James, I'll have to check for that. Ray's a good guy. Sarge is still MIA. Sarge is out there. I believe he has retired. He sometimes pops up on Instagram or Facebook. Pistachio is good, Phil. Yeah, I do like pistachio. Rocky Road. You know what, Phil? We would not have a problem choosing ice cream. If we had a split container of ice cream, we'd be okay. Those are all fine. Although I don't really eat ice cream anymore, but if I had to choose one, yeah. Sarge is occupied fishing. That's a good thing to do. That's a good thing to be occupied by. You remember Heavenly Hash, Paragon? There were two kinds? Oh, now, it's been a long time, but Heavenly Hash had coconut in it too. Okay, honestly, it's been so long since I had it, I barely remember it, but I remember that was the one I'd always go for. We used to be able to get it at Baskin-Robbins when I was a kid, and we used to be able to get containers of it. They used to be half-gallon containers. I don't think they're called half-gallon anymore. Eric, the blue-collar pipe smoker. How you doing, Eric? Hey, good to see you, buddy. I wanted to ask you a question, and I might as well ask it in front of the rest of the world. Does Larry make a Thanksgiving-themed tamper? Because I don't have a Thanksgiving-themed tamper. Strawberry cheesecake and a waffle cone. That would be interesting, Gary. I don't like strawberry. I'm a weird guy when it comes. I don't like berries. They're too tart for me. Phil, if I bought an ice cream maker, I'd be a 400-pound fat guy in a week. I think the reason why nobody's heard from Sarge is he retired and he's been sleeping because that man worked so hard. He needed like some hibernation time. Hey, Big Country Briar, good to see you, Cole. On your way home, we'll drive safely, buddy. He has a set of three, and he has a turkey damper. Okay, I didn't need Eric. Other people are keeping up on. I've had frozen blueberries. Blueberries are the one berry I can tolerate, but I don't like them warm. Like if I have blueberry pie, I like it cold. 3 tampers available right now as a Thanksgiving special. A turkey, a football, and beer. Cool. You have ice cream's your problem too, Chris? Yeah, I would. Fortunately, I've developed some sort of a dairy intolerance. It's not lactose intolerance, but I get really bad like GI cramping. It doesn't lead to anything other than the cramping. And it's not all dairy. It's weird. Like some cheeses I can eat, some I can't. So yeah, ice cream's pretty much off the menu for me. Dad used to make ice cream, electric motor driven ice cream machine. Oh, cool. Licking it with the dog. That's funny, Doug. I could lathe one out of a turkey bone, Paragon. I could make my own, you're right. But I have to get a turkey to do that. Oh, he's still working full time, Eric. I didn't know that. Okay. But then again, if by working full time you mean Sarge is working 40 hours a week, that means he's working half time, as Phil points out. 40 hours a week is semi-retired for Sarge. Texas Pipe Show next week, says John Adams. Hope you guys enjoy that. Absolutely, Detroit Matt. I'd be happy to do it. Hey, Lydia. Oh, Lydia. Oh, jeez. I just got Detroit Matt in trouble. Let's try that over. Hey, Linda. He's Detroit Matt. Believe him. The one and only. You got that problem too, Christian. That's interesting. Because we've both been through similar lifestyle changes over the past years, and I don't know. It's not lactate won't do it, Gary. It's not a lactose intolerance thing. It's something else. It's very weird. Yeah, see, something like a milkshake would kill me. Even like a glass of milk, I can't do. And like American cheese, I can't, but cheddar cheese seems to be fine. It's very strange. Heavenly Hash candy? Oh yeah, I'd be my own best customer. Do bad. That sounds good. That is interesting, Bonapiper. Sarge is a gluten for punishment. Detroit Matt, anytime I can help, just let me know. Good places online to get unusual tampers, asked Woody. Well, Woody, I'm gonna go with my go-to, which is Larry Blackett. His buttons for your britches on Instagram. This is his Sherlock Holmes tamper. They're all made out of solid pewter, but there's a lot of other guys out there making tampers. Phil, do you know if is it Spalletti? Is he still making tampers? Because he made some really nice ones for a while too. really interesting, Christian. I'm gonna have to look that up and see if that's a regular thing, like that if it's been noted before. I saw your omelet the other day, Phil. I hope it's resolved because if not, that would have been a tough day for you. Remember when tattoos were only seen on convicts and sailors and occasionally at the circus? Yes. I think I told the story, Doug, about how I was sitting on the beach this past summer and I just couldn't believe it that every person that walked past me had a tattoo. It was like it would be really rare to see somebody that didn't have a tattoo. A milkshake every day on your golf trip, Ed. Well, I guess you walked off. You easily would have walked that off on a golf trip. So, Paul Johnson, hello. Bowl of Solano aged barley flake. Nice stuff. Doing fine, John Adams, and good to see you, buddy. Heavenly Hash is a type of candy. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was based on a candy. Little Louis thing. I'm gonna have to look into that. Oh, there you go. Woody James Steidle has some information on some rustic hand carved tampers. When I said I see why we're talking about tattoos. I said Liddy. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Phil, were you convicted to I thought you were committed to a circus. Casein proteins. That's interesting. Big rig grinder. That could make sense. Yeah. Exactly, Christian. It feels like like I'm somehow underdressed by not having a tattoo. Doug, you gonna do the whole song, aren't you? Semantics, that Phil. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Got it. Got one in reserve. Ah, Doug. Brian Dawkins, hello. Tasman, I should have done a pre-combat check for sure. Seen the old Dark House, Bad Dad. Good movie. Well, Pepe the Navy and the Yakuza. Dr. Bob's Nightmare. Hello. Welcome. Bought a 1920s opera pipe with a horn stem off of eBay. Best $15 ever spent. That's fantastic, Bob. Dr. Bob. Sorry. You're a professional, man. Uh, that is great. 1920s. Cool. Yeah, those horn stems are really neat. So I saw something recently that I still can't quite believe. But in Japan, Japan's a little odd. Um, they do some things a little different over there. Uh, and people in Japan right now are saying those people in the U.S. are nuts. But there's a museum that you can go to in Japan where they actually have, how can I put this without being gross? Uh, so the Yakuza were known for like full body tattoos, and they had something to do with like your status within the organization and stuff. And they actually, as a I guess it was to honor the person or something, when a high-ranking Yakuza official would pass away, and this is going way, way back, so I hope they're not still doing this, uh, they would remove the tattoos and dry them and make wall hangings out of them. Uh, I don't want to say exactly what that would involve biologically, but I think you get the idea. Or medically, or post-mortemly. You get the idea. Uh, and they actually showed some of these in this video that I was watching, and there's this like museum you can go to, and they're there hanging on the wall. It's the strangest thing. That's good advice, Phil. Yeah, if you don't know, Bob, those horn stems are very sensitive to moisture. You want to keep them dry, and Phil's suggesting putting some Vaseline or something on them once in a while just to prevent them from absorbing that moisture and splitting. And that's a really good tip. Oh, Louis, Frosty Mint. Frosty Mint is gone, isn't it? I don't think they made lampshades out of them, Phil, but yeah, you're getting the idea there. Oh, Christian, that's funny. That's really funny. Oh, Chris, you're kidding. Oh, that is really disturbing. Wow. Father Chris, there's some things I just don't want to know. And I cannot unknow that now, but not yet, Eric. I didn't want to regret it if he lost, but now I'm thinking about it still. Yeah, the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia is very famous. It's a museum of medical oddities. Disturbing place to go. I actually went to some sort of an event there once. It was a, I can't remember why I was there, but it was some kind of a cocktail party type thing. And it was just strange. Like you're standing around talking to people and there's like body parts in jars and stuff. It was really weird. But I've also just seen the museum and it's not very far from Temple University where I went to for my undergraduate work. If you're ever in the area, it's probably worth going as long as you have a high tolerance for grotesque things. Uh, just because it's stuff you're never gonna see it anywhere else. And some of the historical stuff, like the medical instruments and stuff, are worth seeing. Phil, that's really morbid. But I get it. Isn't it trocar though? It's spelled with a T, I think. He's smoking something, Pepe. Leo the 13th favorite snuff? That's interesting, Louis. Yeah, I've seen that this past week, Christian. I've seen that the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movies on Netflix, and every time I look at it, I think I'm not ready for this right now. I want to watch it. I'm very curious, but I just have to be in the right mood. And unfortunately, I didn't see it until after Halloween. I did finish the last Alien movie, so I saw what was the last one called? Romulus? I think it might have been Romulus. I don't remember now, but yeah, that wasn't good. Uh, but I watched them all. I started before Halloween. I got through all of them. That was fun. I honestly have not seen. So I saw the first one in the theater, and I must have seen the second one because I had them confused. It was really interesting. I remember very clearly the first movie, shot by shot. I mean, it was like I was watching something I just watched last week. And then I was expecting it to end the way the second movie ended. And of course it didn't. It ended the way the first movie ended. So I have no, and then I watched the second movie and I didn't recognize it until the ending. So I have no idea how I got those two convolved in my mind. But and then I hadn't seen any of the others. So it was interesting to watch them. I enjoyed that. And right now I've got all the Predator movies loaded up. I'm going to watch those and get into the crossovers. But I saw a review today of the new Predator movie that just opened this past week, and Oh boy, Disney did its magic with that apparently, so I'm just not going to bother with that one. Oh, Netflix buggered it, Phil? Padre Piper is still around. He's actually very active on Facebook, which I hardly ever look at, but every time I look at it, he's there. So he's not doing much on YouTube anymore, but he's definitely still out there. Well, Patrick, I think Disney and death of the franchise are synonymous. Will do, Paragon. I've got them all. I'm going to watch them in order of release. Hazard Borden, hello. Welcome. All right, Ed. See you tomorrow at 1. Have a good evening, buddy. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Disney's lost its way. No question about it. Phil, you're the first person I've seen say anything good about the new Tron. I haven't seen it. I don't have much interest, to be honest. But Dry Fly Fisher 11, good to see you, buddy. Jeffrey Feinberg wants to know, when was my last cigar and what was it? Oh, goodness, Jeffrey. Uh, I think I don't remember, Jeffrey. I really don't remember. It was sometime during the summer, and I do not remember what it was. But sorry. Didn't know a comet passed the sun, Pepe. Christian wants to know the scariest movie anyone ever saw. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I talked about mine, Christian, but it was sort of because I was younger and the experience and all. It was that children shouldn't play with dead things movie, a zombie movie. We got to go fishing someday, Pepe. If we're going ice fishing, I'll have to bring a lot of yingling. What is this 31 Atlas? I do not know this. I guess people are saying that that was the scariest movie. The other, says Lord Hogarth. The Halloween Masks ones, yeah, those are scary. Nancy Pelosi, a documentary, would be terrifying. The X-rated version of Caligula would be terrifying, yes. The R-rated version of Caligula was kind of scary. Haven't seen Yusuf in a while. He was here a couple weeks ago for a brief period of time, David. Will do, Pepe. The Exorcist. There you go. Saws 1 through 4. Saw 1 through 4. Yeah, those movies just... I'm not into the slasher ones. We've talked about this before. Did the AI Atlas break it? I don't know this AI Atlas or 13 Atlas. I'll have to look into that. Ah, Brian. Yes, Hellraiser. So, I've never seen a Hellraiser movie. I rented the first one. This was back when you would go to the store and rent videotapes. I lived alone in Pittsburgh in an apartment. And I thought, oh, this will be fun. And I sat down at night after dinner and I put it in and I watched like the first maybe 10 minutes of it. And I just said, no, I'm not going to do this. Because I know that at the end of this movie, I'm going to have to turn the lights out and go to sleep. And no. And I took it out and I never watched it. And I'm sure they're not as scary as that moment. You know, it's a lot about the environment and the time and what's in your mind at the time. You bring as much to a scary movie as the movie brings to you, I think. Let's see. Dark Floors is surprisingly good for a movie, says Ron Hardcrackers. The monsters being members of the metal band. Oh, okay. Yes. I think I've seen this, Ron, or I've seen someone review it. Yeah. Oh, and the Kiss movie. Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. You remember that one? Psycho was scary in another way, Patrick. Absolutely. 31 Atlas is the third interstellar comet. Oh, you're talking about the comet. Okay. Oh, is that the one that they said maybe was not a comet, maybe it was a ship or something because of the way it was moving? I did see some of this stuff. Okay. Dr. Bob says Jaws. Yeah, I remember watching that and not wanting to go back in the ocean for sure. Starting a new rod, Dry Fly Fisher. Very cool. You know, I've got a whole bunch of rods that from my father-in-law when he passed away that I've got to go through and repair. So I'm probably going to be doing that this winter, some of that. And I'm hoping to get a new camera soon that will let me do a better job of videotaping that kind of stuff. Videotaping, sound like an old man. Of recording that kind of stuff and maybe doing some videos, some more shop type videos. But I don't have any plans to actually build a rod. You know, I've got all the rods I need, and I don't really need to make them for anybody else, right? So, yeah, I'm not planning on making any new ones, but that's cool that you're doing it. Yeah, Doug, I've seen something about... I didn't know it had a name, this comet, but It did do some strange stuff, I recall. Your mom thinks Hellboy is scary. Well, there were parts of it that were scary, but not for the reasons that I would normally call things scary. Peter finished his haunted bookshop and mine's still almost going. I think I win tonight, Peter. Storing pipes in flat trays. I know people do it, Louis. I mean, I had a friend that kept all of his pipes in a big dresser. I've heard other people say they'll never dry out properly if you do that. I don't know. He seemed happy. He had a lot of pipes. I'm way behind in the chat here. I've got to catch up. Comet is deploying small probes all over the solar system. Interesting. Scanners from Canada. Scanners is a Christmas movie. Oh, no, wait. I'm thinking of Trancers. Never mind. Scanners is not a Christmas movie. Scanners is yeah, that's got some scary moments to it. Bad Dad's going with Hearth and Home, 10 to midnight, Virginia, Turkish, Orientals, and Latakia. 10 to midnight. Sorry, I murdered that. Spielberg stole the script from Poltergeist from Paragon Piper's best friend's uncle. Huh. Jerk. Stogie tattoo. Peter, I barely won. The fact is, this is probably not going to relight. Still going, still going. Old Uncle Mike wants to know what I did to lose weight. I've actually got a video on it, Mike, if you want to search for it. But it wasn't anything special. I used the Noom program. And it's a wonderful program. It really helped me understand the concept of caloric content and caloric density. And it just changed the way I view food. And that, a little bit more exercise, nothing crazy, but mostly just eating the right things at the right times and learning to eat as fuel for my body rather than as something I do for fun. Now, the truth is, since I lost all the weight, I have gained more than I want to back because I've switched back into eating for fun, and I gotta retrain myself because I gotta drop about 20 pounds. But it's yeah, it was an interesting journey, and anybody can do it. If I could do it, anybody could. It wasn't hard. It was just changing my mind rather than anything else. Wouldn't go into the pool after Caddyshack. I get that, Louis. Doug. Oh, Doug. No. It's almost time to start arguing over whether or not... Oh, you know what? I don't even want to say it. I'm not going to say it. Doug broke the seal. I am finished with the Haunted Bookshop. And normally, sorry, furnace skin, it's cold here today. Normally we'd be doing the tobacco of the month right now, but we don't do the tobacco of the month in October, November, or December because those are already set. October is Haunted Bookshop, which is a joke because every month is Haunted Bookshop, but how could you not have Haunted Bookshop in spooky season? Or smoky season for that matter. Every year we talk about that, Doug, and you know, every year I say to myself, I gotta rewatch that Alistair Sim Christmas Carol, and I still haven't done it. I'm gonna do it this year. Yeah, Christian, it's interesting because what you say there about traveling and saying, I don't know if I'll ever come back here, so I'm going to enjoy myself, I'm going to eat whatever. The problem I have is that I've actually switched to that mentality in general. Like, you know what? If I go travel somewhere, I'll say, well, heck, I'm going to have a good time. I don't care. I'll be able to fix this later. And the truth is, it's not easy to fix it later. You have to keep constantly, you have to stay consistent, I guess. John Adams has two of the tins from Beyond. Hope you enjoy those. Looked interesting. Star of the East Flake. First time trying it. It's good stuff. Good stuff, Dr. Bob. Yeah, Pepe, doggies are fine. My wife is home now, so she's keeping them quiet. There you go, Doug. We got the man himself weighing in on this, so. Carter Hole at a Molina black dress pipe. Tuxedo look with white swirls on a black stem. That sounds pretty, bro. So, the tobacco of the month for November is, of course, L.J. Peretti's Thanksgiving Day. You would have heard me talk about this on Sunday if you could have heard me talk about it. So. And I'm going to smoke this tonight in this old beat-up Barry pipe, which I got from my buddy Danny Short. Hey, Phil, was that Danny I saw in that video you posted a couple days ago? Sure looked like him. That's true, Brian. Dickens is basically responsible for what we think of as Christmas today. Paragon Piper, you're absolutely right about Lethal Weapon, and that's why I always bring up Trancers, because Trancers happens over Christmas. It must be a Christmas movie. Oh my goodness, Pepe! I hope he's doing okay. I'm not debating anything, Cole. Blame Doug. I haven't seen Carrie tonight, but she was asking about whether or not this was a flake. And gosh, can I even get a flake out of this? It's not a flake. It's hopefully you'll see this on a rerun or something, Carrie. It's a oh gosh, it's hard to grab any of the. It's a very loose cake, crumble cake. I think they probably just pressed the ribbons for a few days. But this is from last year. This is 2024. Yeah, 2024. Ron, it's a little bit of both. But this is really aged nicely over the year. The Peretti topping, which I don't necessarily hate, but it's not always what I want. That's kind of decreased a little bit, and it makes it a lot more of something I can smoke every day. Why do I keep? I know that's now. Woody's liking deer tongue lately, having some Newmarket. Nice stuff. Ah, glad to hear it, Pepe. How are you liking those blends, Christian? I haven't tried them, but I've heard some people say they're very good. I mean, Pear is an excellent blender, and working with Cornell and Deal, I'm imagining that he's putting out some pretty nice stuff. Fruit and spice and everything nice. There you go. Yeah, so this is really nice because it whatever that Peretti topping is, it's not as prominent. It drops to the background pretty quickly. And this has the tobaccos in it are really good. And on top of that, it's got some spice to it. And when I say spice, I mean like baking spice. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not overpowering. It's not like a pumpkin spice or something like that, but it's just enough that every once in a while it pops and can be very cool. Very good stuff. So Bona Piper says Port Guardian, Virginia Flake. I can only imagine what it'll be like. Yeah, probably age well, I'm sure. And Cole is Brothers in Arms one of the Per George Jensen blends? Cole, I don't know the names of the blends. Sleepy Piper Todd, how you doing, Todd? And he's having some Brothers in Arms right now. What kind of blend is that, Todd? What are the components? 10 to midnight hitting the spot. Good stuff, Bad Dad. This blend, this Peretti's Thanksgiving Day, I mean, maybe it's just because I've come to associate it with Thanksgiving season, but it really does. Once you get past the topping, it really does seem to capture so many things about Thanksgiving. I mean, it's got that little spice to it. It's got this very deep fall, almost like burning leaves feel to it. It's a comforting blend. It's almost like smoking fall. But not in the modern pumpkin spice sense of it, but more in a classic burning leaves, turkey roasting, maybe a little bit of pumpkin pie later in the day kind of thing. Ah, okay. John Adams got an interesting question. What's everyone's favorite blend to age before smoking? So Brothers in Arms is Darkfire Kentucky, Perique, Turkish Burley, and Red Virginia. Wow, that sounds good. Is the Dark Fired very strong, Todd? Because I'm like, if it's like old Dark Fire, that's definitely not something I want. But if it's a condiment, that could be really good. So they block tobacco reviews, Christian? My goodness. Carrie, good to see you. So Tunnel Bear is a VPN that you can use if you're in Canada and access the tobacco reviews site. It's good to know, Christian. 6 years aged tin of Hato's Delight, Dr. Bob says was really good, but he hasn't had it fresh. Doug says Virginias are best. Yeah. Yeah, and Latakia does fade, which is one of the reasons I like to age Latakia blends. Ahmed, how you doing, buddy? Uh, there's deep cleaning of the shank, only the shank, not the bowl. Doesn't help the breaking in process of the pipe. What do you mean by deep cleaning, Ahmed? I mean, like, you got to get some pipe cleaners through it and stuff. I mean, you want to keep your pipe clean. But if you're talking about like alcohol and stuff like that, I wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't put any alcohol or anything like that in. You don't need to do that. I mean, the only time you need to put, if you're doing like a deep cleaning, like maybe once every couple years, and I actually haven't done it in years. If there's a pipe that just isn't performing well for me, and it's rare, I'll uh, I'll run some alcohol through the shank. But for the most part, I just ream and pipe cleaners. I don't use any solvents on the pipe. Yeah, Carrie, stems, so stems are a little different. And some stems, especially acrylic stems, if you don't clean them, you start to see, you can show through and you get that dark uh, airway that's very unattractive. So, yeah, I think what you're suggesting is a really good idea. Warm water and a little bit of dish soap. You put that on a pipe cleaner and run it through a few times and then maybe hit it with a couple of dry pipe cleaners to get that out. That's probably a reasonable thing to do. Um, yeah, the hypocrisy of the anti-tobacco, pro-marijuana people is just unbelievable, Christian. I just doesn't make any sense. Well, Ahmad, I guess if it makes you feel better and you're happy doing it, there's nothing wrong with it. But it is stressing the wood a bit. You might run into problems with the fit of your tannin into the mortise because you're drying out the wood with the alcohol. But it's probably not hurting anything, so. What I always say about pipe smoking is if you're enjoying it, you're doing it right. So you're getting more dark fired than the other components. Okay, thank you, Todd. I will not rush out and buy Brother in Arms then, but anybody that likes dark fired should definitely try it. Dr. Bob, I'm just going to pretend I didn't read that. Cole, I couldn't agree with you more. I see people talking about that and I just go, oh God, no. Sillam's Black, does that age well, Paul? Never had Sillam's Black. Never had any of the Sillams. Carrie, that's why I got excited when Todd described it. It sounded a lot like Haunted Bookshop, but I really don't like dark fired, so. Oh, Mod wants me to talk about pipe gurgle. That's an interesting area. I'm trying. I'll get to pipe gurgle in a moment, Mod. I promise. I'm trying to think of the blends I really like to age. To go back to that question, and one that comes to mind immediately is Stokeby Luxury Bullseye Flake. That, in my opinion, 6-year-old Luxury Bullseye Flake is a completely different tobacco to what you buy fresh, and I think much more enjoyable. The other one, I just cannot remember the name of it. It's a Four Noggins blend. It begins with a W, and it's the one that matches called Haunted Bookshop's Little Brother. But I cannot think of the name of that. Can someone help me? I have quite a bit of it, but I don't smoke it very often because I'm aging it. It's like Westgate or it's West something. Westminster. Might be Westminster. Anyway, that stuff ages amazingly. Those are my favorite. Weybridge, thank you, Jimmy. Weybridge, yes. That stuff really, it's incredible how well that ages. So pipe gurgle could be caused by a couple different things, Ahmad, and there's probably more of them that I'm going to mention. But in my experience, when people send me a pipe and say it gurgles, uh, about 90% of the time, it's because the airway, that the junction between the airway and the shank and the airway and the stem is wrong. It might be that one is drilled off center. It might be that the tenon isn't funneled. Um, it might be that the size is just wrong. You know, sometimes the shank is drilled larger than the stem or something like that. You really want to have a continuous taper from where the airway starts at the bowl all the way back to the mouthpiece. And as this gets smaller, because you've got a tapered hole here, it should get wider to sort of maintain that volume. That's probably the most important thing. The other thing that's very common is that the airway enters the bowl too high. So you've got like a pocket at the bottom that's going to collect moisture, and that can be a problem too. But it's almost always got something to do with that. Yeah, Doug's pretty much saying this. Yeah, Doug, I've never, I don't know. I think you'd have to really spit in your pipe a lot for it to be saliva. I've never bought that, but I tend to be a pretty dry smoker. I know a lot of people maybe aren't dry smokers. Yeah, turbulence. I mean, if anybody's really interested in this, I wrote a whole blog post on airflow dynamics and turbulence that nobody reads. Uh, but what I was describing about the transitions in the between the shank and the stem and the geometry of the airway is all an attempt to decrease turbulence. You know, another thing that is actually quite common is the airway itself could be rough. So sometimes just getting a church warden pipe cleaner, putting some like triple E compound on it and clamping one end into a vise and sliding the stem up and down that can really smooth things out and help a lot too. I see a lot of folks saying moisture in the tobacco, and yeah, that's going to make it worse for sure, but you can smoke even a very wet tobacco in a well-engineered pipe and it won't gurgle. And if the pipe whistles, it'll often gurgle because the whistle is telling you that there's some inconsistency in the geometry. There's a place where turbulence is happening. That whistle is just air turbulence. And somebody mentioned cadence. Yeah, cadence probably has something to do with it too. But I think if you after you've smoked for a while, you learn that you have to adjust your cadence to fit the pipe and the tobacco, I guess. But I smoke each pipe differently, I think, and that's something that you learn during the break-in period. Is there any advantage to obsidian oil over just mineral oil for vulcanite stems? I don't think so, Woody. I've never seen anybody convincingly demonstrate that it was different. Draft hole size can be a factor, Ahmed, if it's not matched to the if it's not matched to the whole length. So if the stem is drilled larger than the shank, or if the shank is drilled larger than the stem, then that could be a problem. But it shouldn't affect gurgle. It might affect, how well you can smoke it, but not gurgle. If it's consistent all the way through. Dr. Bob, stingers are like religion. If you don't like them, remove them. There's good advice, Paragon. Yes. I think Smoke Rings Around the World is in September, Pepe. I think. I know Ed did it. I just don't remember it. Oh, Doug, that is disgusting. Yeah, people have been doing that forever, David. You know, I'll sometimes it's rare, but if I'm walking, like if I'm fishing and I'm walking from spot to spot and I'm smoking and I'm not really paying attention, I might get a little moisture buildup. So just clamp my. I actually use the. I don't know what that's called. That part of your palm. Just clamp that over and do that, and you'll throw that moisture out. Okay, Louis says there's something in obsidian oil that gives UV protection and whatnot. Maybe. I believe you, Louis. I just don't think it matters that much. I mean, yeah. If you want to use obsidian oil, go ahead. As I said earlier, if you're enjoying what you're doing it right. Folks, I just realized we got 3 minutes left and I'm not even halfway done here. I've actually found something. I don't want to tell you what it is. So I'm going to tease you because I'm still testing it, but I think I found something better than mineral oil. The bladder and bladder gurgled on you, Christian. Was it a bent pipe? I mean, that's interesting because bladder and bladder seems to have a good reputation. So I'd be surprised if their drilling was off. Piper on the 45. Pipe gurgle is your pipe saying, stop reading and pay attention to me, damn it. There you go. Yeah, I think in general, bent pipes just present a little bit more of a challenge to a new pipe smoker. And that might be why. So does it still gurgle, Christian? Like, do you smoke it now? Oh, the drilling was not optimal. Okay. Well, then that explains it. Oh, Doug, I can't imagine. I would not have been able to just ignore that. I would have had to have said something. That's why I'm not in customer service of any kind. Does anybody remember, is it Gary Witherspoon or Greg Witherspoon? He was he's a wonderful guy, older guy, used to do a nightly YouTube video. Um, we talk about his pipes and his tobaccos, and um, he was just a really neat guy. He passed away, but he was an older guy. He had a stroke, and he was, I think he, like, one of his arms didn't work anymore, but you wouldn't notice unless he told you. And he's just a really kind old guy who would talk about pipes and tobacco, and he was on every night. It was like a ritual that it's up time to watch. I think it was Gary Witherspoon. Does anybody remember him? There's a reason I'm bringing him up. Ah, sentimental. Okay. It would be interesting though, Christian, to take it out and just see if it's still gurgled, because maybe that you've overcome that now, and you can now master the pipe. I don't know. If it was the drilling though, that's not going to be the case. So keep it sentimental. Everything goes better after a couple of fingers of a brown liquor, Doug. Everything. I guess nobody remembers old Gary Witherspoon. Um, but he used to. I remember him. He'd be smoking, and you get that thing where you've accumulated moisture in the bottom of the bowl, and you relight it, and it starts to like it doesn't gurgle. It's like crackling because the tobacco is getting close to that moisture. It's basically boiling off. And you'd hear that sound. He would go, ah, it's roasting. I love it when it does that. Ah, okay, Christian. So it's definitely the drilling then. Yeah, absolutely. Louis, just recycle that blue bottle. Steam engine effect. There you go, Cole. He was just, it's a shame nobody remembers him. He was such a treat to watch. I'm going to have to, I think his videos are still up. I'm going to have to find one and I'll put a link to it in the description here if I remember. Oh, the occasional clay piper has arrived, everybody. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Christian, have a great weekend, buddy. It was wonderful seeing you. Doug, I don't consider black velvet to be liquor. Steve, you remember Gary? Okay. He was a he was a wonderful guy. Ron's switching to Sir Winston from Winston's in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Bear Wolf and Cliff Higgins got him. Oh, well, those two are trouble. All right, JD, God bless. Take care, my friend. No, Steve, he passed away a few years ago, sadly. It's funny, I was thinking the other day about how many people have passed on. You know, it's I was looking over my I've got another YouTube channel that I just watch, and that has a very odd mix of like electronics and machining and woodworking and ham radio and a couple of pipe channels for odd reasons that I accidentally subscribed to them on the wrong channel, and then I subscribed to them on the right channel. And there was this guy, and I can't even remember his name, so I'm not gonna be able to tell you, but he was an old guy who did ham radio videos, and when I was first going for my ham radio license, he was really helpful. You know, I'd watch his videos. I really learned a lot from him. And I knew he had gotten sick. He talked a couple times about he was sick, and he had some form of cancer. It doesn't matter what. But this has been going on for years. Anyway, last night I saw he had a video, and he said that this might be his last video. He's dying, and the doctors can't do anything for him. And it was just really kind of shocking and sad. Sorry, the furnace is on again. Shocking and sad to see this. And he's laying in a hospital bed making this video, and it was hard to watch. And it got me thinking about how many people I've known on YouTube, and I haven't been doing this for 40 years or anything. It's been 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. And so many people have, and I guess it's because we're older for the most part, and it's bound to happen, just part of life. And the odd thing is the next video after that was this video that Phil had posted. I don't know if Phil's still on or not, but it looked like it might have been an old video of a meetup that he was at, just a little short clip, and I swear I saw Danny Shore there, who also, passed away several years ago, and I thought, well, that's just odd that, I'm thinking about this, and the next thing I see is Danny. So, I don't know if YouTube's trying to tell me something, but just never forget that life is short and enjoy every moment of it. There you go. Thank you, James. Yes, it was Jim W6LG. Yes. And that was, I knew he wasn't doing well, and I have not been watching his videos as regularly because it's just not my main focus these days, but seeing that was a shock. Your YouTube Elmer. Yeah, that's him, Jimmy. And he's great because he would, I remember him taking on the AARL for a while. He was opinionated. Cole, it's the funniest thing. I was actually really sick before that. I did have cancer and everything, and got through it, and then decided to lose the weight. So I was actually at my healthiest at that time, and so many people were coming up to me saying, "Are you all right?" I still, at work sometimes, have people say to me, "Is everything okay?" And yeah, I'm really good. Really good. Every day is indeed a blessing. Patrick's here, PA Piper. If you're talking about Patrick Grant, he's Rush fan free tonight. Going incognito. Oh, really, James? Did he make another video after that one? Because he didn't say that in the video that I watched, or maybe that was an earlier one that I missed. We're just going to let this, going to wait till the furnace ends, and then we'll draw this to a close. It might be in the description, James. Okay, I didn't read the description. While we're on the morbid side of life, I've done this earlier. Update on my brother is that he's really starting to decline now. And sorry, PA Piper's correcting brother made me think of him. He's really starting to decline, and he's got, I think, very little time. So every moment I get to talk to him is cherished, and I just want to say thank you for all the kind words and prayers. And some of you folks, I sent out a request to select people. Not I didn't want to just blast this out to everybody, but I contacted some people that fairly close with and asked them if they would send a card or something. And a lot of folks stepped up and did that. It really made him happy. So he's fine. He's comfortable. And thank you. The prayers are really important. And at this point, what we got to pray for is just his comfort, and for the family around him, my sister and my two nieces, my niece and my nephew. They're going to need the prayer. But yeah, I mean, it's been a rough year and a half now, and it's been really hard to see that. But at the same time, I can see the change that's occurred in him. It's hard to explain really, but he's become more introspective. He's become more aware of I guess I'd say the like history of his life and things that happened to him over time, and relatives that we haven't talked about in a long time. He's like bringing up these memories, and it's clear that he's spending time in introspection, and he's also become oddly, I hate to say oddly religious. I mean, I've told you he's autistic, so he was never very theologically inclined, but he suddenly is praying more, and he wanted a Bible, and chaplains visiting him and things like that. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's a tough situation, but honestly, it's about the best as it can be. And I think all of you who have offered prayers and support and everything have been a big part of making that easier. So thank you for that. Thank you much, folks. Yeah, life is precious. Don't ever forget that. Every minute is a gift. And I hope Gary Witherspoon in his last moments felt that way, and I hope Jim, our YouTube Elmer, is thinking about life in that way right now, and is not looking back with regrets about all the things they could have done and didn't. Gotta seize every moment. Yeah, sorry, this took a real dark turn. I didn't mean that. Okay, David, but does your voice go up an octave when you put the glove on? Absolutely, Peter. I think it is a good thing. It's true, James. It is just the reality of life. And it's funny how Pipe Gurgle got me to... It was Guy Witherspoon. It was Guy. And that got me to where we are now. Anyway, folks, the furnace has completed. We're a bit overdue for a goodbye, so I should probably draw this to a close. I will be back on Sunday, hopefully with audio this time. And we will be back next week with another one of these fine things. And I promise again, no more pumpkin. So that's a good thing. Old pal Piper, I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm glad we can share too. And I hope you guys always feel comfortable sharing as well. I haven't heard from Ronnie Ewing, by the way. I told you last week his mom was doing poorly, so keep him in your prayers because he told me she's passing. She was in hospice, so um, keep Ronnie in your prayers as well. Highlight of my week as always, guys. Great to see everyone. Thank you for joining me. And again, I'll be back next week. We'll be here on Sunday, maybe with audio. Take care all and be good to one another.